Hello guys, today I finally got a new duel replay for you guys. Today I'm playing Dogmatika-Invoked as always against actually Infernoble. I don't think we had Infernoble before on this channel with the duel replays, and yeah, I'm starting this match which is like really good for me because this is like actually die roll dependent, this matchup, because most of the time you lose when you go second but you win when you go first, and my hand is like actually it's like okay. I think it's actually good because you don't really lose the draw with this hand, although I played it like a bit wrong with it. But you draw the Dogmatika punishment. It's like really good if you draw it hard and also have like two ways, two Alistairs and also the droplet. So yeah, and also an Ash Blossom, which can help. His hand is like also pretty good, but not really against my deck because Nibiru doesn't do anything against my deck. And yeah, Neo Space Connector is like a good normal summon. Also, Super Counter Red Layer is a good card going second, same as Immortal Phoenix Gearfried, and the Durandal is his search. So his hand is also like pretty good, but not really going second against Dogmatika-Invoked. Yeah, I'm beginning by actually activating the Meltdown. This is like I actually thought right here. If people are main deck and draw, and I don't thought that they would main deck draw, so I thought they would rather play Ash. So I thought about just banning out the Ash with the Meltdown, and then maybe the Ash, and I still have like the Alistair. So yeah, because in Dogmatika-Invoked, if you Ash the Elster, you can like still go into the Almirage and special summon your Ecclesia. So sometimes it's better to Ash the Meltdown. So was what I trying right here. I get my Elster. He has obviously no Ash. Activate yeah, search for invocation. Activation comes later, and link it away for the Almirage and also the Secure Guard. And then use the invocation now, go for Mekaba, then shuffle it back, and yeah, just basic invoked stuff, setting the punishment and also the droplet. And yeah, then it's his turn. He draws Living Fossil, which is like an okay extender. And yeah, he starts by specialing the red layer, which is like a good play. Because he has like already pressure on the board. He cannot pressure my Mekaba, but with the Neo Space Connector, if he gets out the other guy, the Neo Aqua Dolphin, he can immediately like rip a card of my hand with the high attack points of red layer. And yeah, but he actually continues with Durandal and equips it to I think either Mekaba or red layer. I don't really know. I think it's like Mekaba, and yeah, I decide to Ash it. Right here, I thought like Ash was the best idea. I could have also just let him search, but I thought like Ashing was a good idea because he hadn't normaled yet. So yeah, he goes for Neo Space Connector. Right there, I maybe should have used Mekaba because I actually use like Mekaba later to negate the Echo Dolphin. But I should have used like Mekaba right here. I could have also used a droplet, but I wanted to save the droplet. And yeah, I let him special summon out the dolphin. Oh yeah, I did that because I wanted him to use another card out of his hand as a cost if he wants to rip me something. So yeah, now I actually use the Mekaba, and so I don't only lose a card, he also loses one for the effect of dolphin. So yeah, I just banish the dolphin, then he uses his two warriors and goes into Isolde, which is like an okay play. He actually also doesn't play around draw, he uses the effect of Isolde's summon effect, so I don't think this is like really necessary here because yeah, maybe for the next turn. So yeah, he just goes to search another red layer, and I decide to use the punishment right away so he can't even pay the cost and maybe gets a smoke grenade or whatever into the graveyard. So yeah, that was like the plan. So it was actually a good idea because now he has to banish the Durandal from his field to get out the Gearfried. So he won't be able to negate anything anymore. And I also decided to send the Ash Dragon to have like a follow-up play, because if I use punishment right here, I cannot go for Alistair in the next turn. So yeah, and I also I didn't think about shooting this Durandal. I think this wasn't worth it to shoot it with like endless. So I just go for the Ash Dragon with the punishment, and then he uses Gearfried and banishes the Durandal and specials the Gelfried, and then actually goes in the battle phase, and right here I actually used like the Mechba, so I have to use the only thing that I have left, which is like Droplet, and which is like the ideal card to play right here because he actually attacks my monster. So yeah, I just half his attack, and then he loses 1,000 because he's like at 1/5, so Mechba is 2/5, and then end phase Titaniclad would use this effect, and it's just special Ecclesia and go for the floor, and then I had like the OTK with the Alistair in my hand, so this was like 3/5 plus 5k, so this was like sure OTK. So yeah, I side like my whole going second stuff in, like all the hand traps you need against those kind of decks, and yeah, I actually go second, which is like normal. I think you can expect to go second against those decks. They won't never let you go first because they're going first is like way too OP. You will see in a second. My hand right here is like alright. It's like a good hand, don't misunderstand me, but going second, this is like not enough. Just one Gamma is not enough against those more in combo decks. You need at least like 2 or even 3 hand traps to stop it. It's like always, if you have like Nip plus a negate, this is you will always be like fine, but if you have like only like a Gamma, this is like not enough. And yeah, you see his hand is like pretty broken. He has like 1 star plus an extender, also triple tactic talents if I use like any monster effects, and also an impermanence for the next turn, and also the Oliver. So yeah, his hand is like stacked. He normally like the Neo Space Connector. The thing is right here, I actually should use the Gamma right here because it's his normal summon, and yeah, when he gets out the Aqua Dolphin, he can actually try to rip something out of my hand. Like Gamma has enough attack to not be ripped out of the hand, but it's his normal, and I remove like 2 monsters from his field. So I think this was like a good idea to Gamma it right here. Yeah, it actually would have been like a good idea because then it would have been hard to follow for him. But he has like the triple tactic talents, so yeah, he just goes to draw with the triple tactic talents and actually draws into like a red layer, which is like really good for him because he can now use the Flint Lady and also the red layer to just go into Isolde and then just go for his place. So maybe it would have been better to negate the Isolde, but I felt like this was the right play to not give him like knowledge over my hand. Even if he doesn't rip anything out of my hand, he will still have like knowledge over my hand. So yeah. Then he used the effect of Sodi, does not play around roll. I don't know why the people do not play around roll, because he doesn't really need like the red layer. And then he goes for like descending 4 and special summoning out an Oliver. Then yeah, he just goes into Link Cross, and then with Link Cross and the Oliver, he goes into Needle Fiber. And yeah, I'm not really like that confident with the Infernoble-Knight deck, but I think this is like not a normal combo. It's like a more extended combo where you play like more bricks, like Plague Sprayer and stuff. I think it's like also more like fragile because it loses easily to like Nip because he doesn't go for like the Herald. And yeah, he goes like instant for the Mecha Phantom Beast or Rodon. And if he now eats like a Nip, it's like over for him. He cannot do anything to recover right here. So normally I think it's like better if you go for the Herald before you go for Auroradon. Yeah, then he just goes for the Coral Dragon. But you will see his board is like actually a bit stronger than the Nip. The other board, but he has like no Omni negates. But yeah, he's drawn like crazy with this deck. He goes for another Garfried, and yeah, then gets one to the top of his deck. With Plague Spreader, gets him back. Goes for Garden Rose Maiden. This is like also such a strong card, and yeah, gets Black Garden. I think it's like interesting that the people play like Black Garden. It's like a funny card. And yeah, he actually killed like with Auron his 2 synchros, which was like really weird. I was like thinking, oh, okay, what is he like doing? But it was like a good idea to do that, to go for the other Mecha Phantom Beast. And yeah, then he revives with the Garden Rose Maiden, the Coral Dragon, and then goes for the Black Garden, gives me like the tokens. This is actually halved now because Black Garden was on the field, but it doesn't matter because later he goes for WFD, so it's like no problem. I get more tokens, and yeah, then he goes for actually Omega. and I get another token. So Omega is also halved, but now yeah, he can get back the Coral Dragon. To loop the Coral Dragon is like really good with the Black Garden, and he removes all like of my tokens because of Black Garden. Then goes for the Cloud Castle, and yeah, then he actually special summons back with the Cloud Castle the Coral Dragon, which is like wrong. This was a mistake, but it doesn't matter right here. He wanted to revive the Croco Dragon. We fixed that later, so it's like no problem. And yeah, he just overlays in the WFD, and then goes for the Model Phoenix Gearfried, and gets back the Phoenix Blade, and yeah, now he fixes it so that he has like the right materials, and he also has like an imperm. So his board is like really strong because he can still like now use the smoke grenades, and yeah, look at my hand. He decides to remove punishment, which I don't really get. Yeah, he has like no way to negate it. Maybe he's like in fear if I set it and then shoot something. But yeah, I don't see why punishment was like. I think the best thing was like to just get rid of Nadi's servant, but yeah, it doesn't matter, I think, because this is like his board is like way too strong to be able to do anything. Yeah, he can shuffle back with the Omega to be able to use Garden Rose Main again, which is like good. Yeah, then he uses with D on light, and then I activate Meltdown. He chains Omega and rips me out the other punishment I drew for turn, and yeah, I get Alistair the Invoker. But the thing is right here, you saw it, if I just top decked like a spell that could out of this stuff, maybe like a Mystic Mine, which I actually play in this version. If I just top decked the Mystic Mine, it would have been game over for him if he had like no spell trap removal in his deck. So I think this version, it has like a strong board, but I think yeah, you can out this board like way more easy. But yeah, the smoke grenade does like help because you have to top deck those cards or have like multiples in your hand. So yeah, it's still a really strong board, but I think the board with like Borrowed Savage and also the Herald Negate is like a bit stronger because it's like easier for you to protect your stuff. So yeah, now I go first again. I side in like the Scythe and stuff. So yeah, I have like a really good matchup against this deck going first, and yeah, I just have like a really good hand. I have like access to Alistair, access to Ecclesia, have like a nip if I get like Lightning Storm, so I still have like a way to survive the turn. Have like an Ice Rings Prison and also punishment, so I can search with Ecclesia something else to go for a window. So my hand's like really stacked right here. The only thing I'm missing is like the Artifact Engine to be able to negate like an evenly, but yeah. His hand is also, it's like okay, it's always good to see like the Phoenix Gearfried if you go second, and because it's like easy to outstuff with it. And yeah, here's the Durandal to search something. It's also really good to go second. It's like never dead if your opponent activates like a card, so even if he draws no monster, the Durandal will not be dead. He has like the Neo Space Connector as an opener, and DDR, and yeah, also an Imperm. And yeah, I just go for Alistair, and he decides not to use the Imperm, which I can like understand because if I still have like the Dogmatika stuff, it doesn't do a lot. And yeah, he maybe wants to save it for Winter or something like that, or save it for the next turn. So yeah, I think this were like his forts. I just go for Almirage, for Secure Guard, activate Invocation, go for Mechaba, use the effect of Invocation, get back my Alistair, and then special summon Ecclesia, use the effect of Ecclesia, and right here he could have impermed, but he decides not to do it. I think I would have done it because his biggest threat right here is like Winda, because if I drop Winda, he's like not really able to play the game. So yeah, he could have tried to use it on Winda in his turn, but it's like hard because I always just go for Winda when he actually admits a monster on the board, and if he doesn't go for a monster, he can just pass and also do nothing, so this also won't help. So I think it's like way better to try to negate the Ecclesia. And he also doesn't really know that I have like a trap in my hand, because he only knows that I have like an Alistair for sure. Yeah, he can assume that I have like a trap, but it's like not really clear. So I would have tried it to use the Imperm on the Ecclesia right here. So I think it wouldn't have mattered because I would have just negated it with Mechaba by discarding like Ice Strength's Prison or Punishment. But I think I would have at least tried it, and the chance is like higher that I have like no trap in my hand. So I just go to add Maximus and then banish Almirage, and the same right here. I would have tried to negate with the Impermanence for sure the Maximus. Like it's like more sure right now than even the Ecclesia, because I could have maybe drawn Maximus or have like the Servant to search it. So it was like not 100% sure to negate the Ecclesia, but I think it's like 100% sure that you have to try to negate like the Maximus, but he decides not to do it. Yeah, I sent like my Epsilon and also my Titanic-Lights, so now it's like too late. He actually sent like Omega, which is like a good send, so he won't get out of extra deck. So I add Shizen, then I right here have to think what I want to discard. My thoughts were like discarding Nibiru or Ice Ring's Prison, and yeah, I actually decide to discard the Nibiru because I want to have the Ice Ring's Prison in my hand, because I have like enough interruption right here, or I think I actually had my punishment in the hand, because I think I have like enough interruptions right here with the search of the Tentacle in the end phase, with the Mechaba, with the push of Alistair, and also with the Schism, with the Winder. So yeah, I just go for discarding the Nib, because I cannot really use the Nib anyway if I have like Winder on the board. So I decide to set like the Ice Ring's Prison and also the Schism, and let the punishment be in my hand, because I want to play a bit around evenly. Maybe if it just goes into battle phase, I can just use Mechaba to negate the evenly. I think this was like a mistake. I should have let Ice Ring's Prison in my hand and set punishment, because it's like more generic, because sometimes he doesn't really get like monsters into the graveyard if I have like Winder, because he obviously can't link and I can't revive those cards right here. So maybe this was like a small mistake, but it doesn't matter right here, I think. So in the end phase, I add Fleur-de-Lis, and yeah, then it's his turn. He actually top decks like a red layer, which is like a good thing, because he has like, if he has like a equip spell that can push the red layer or something like that, he can way more easily out my Winder. And then he just goes for the Imperm. Yeah, he knows that I will probably just go for the Winder if he only has like a monster on the board. So yeah, he activates Imperm on Mechaba to negate the Mechaba. I just let it go through. I could have negated it, but it's like no point at negating it, because then it will be used anyway. So it will be like minus. Then he just special summons the red layer. And I think on a summon, I want to prevent him like to be able to commit more monsters on the board, to be able to go for like a unicorn or anything. So I just go for the Schism right here, because I know if you can push his monster, like somehow I still have like the Alistair to push the Winder. So yeah, I just go straight for the Winder. And because I have to use the Winder, because he can bait it with Omega anyway, so yeah, there's no point of waiting. So yeah, he just goes for the Rendell and equips my Winder with it. And then once the search, I let it go through. There's actually nothing I could done against that, so yeah. He goes for Oliver. And then he just wants to special summon Gerfried. And this is like a good play right here, because he can just go into the battle phase and then equip with Gerfried the Winder, which is like a good play, because after that he can build his massive board then. So yeah. Then he wants to go into battle phase, but I have like still Fleur-de-Lis, and yeah, I say end of main phase, I want to do something, and just negate the Phoenix Gearfried, and then he goes still into the battle phase, and then in the damage step, I just drop my Ulster, and his Phoenix Gearfried dies. So yeah, he decides to still out my Ecclesia, but yeah, he now realized that I have like way too many cards on my board, and I still had like enough stuff to kill him next turn, because just attack with Winder and then attack with Fleur-de-Lis, yeah, I can still send like stuff with Maximus. So yeah, and I have like still the Ice Ring's Prison to revive his Gerfried and then also attack with the Gerfried. So yeah, this was like GG for him, and he knew that. So yeah, but I think this matchup is like really decided with the die roll, because yeah, you saw if you go second and do not draw like the proper hand traps, you don't really have a chance against Smoke Grenade. But it's like the same if you go first, and this just can make a win there. He has like no chance. So yeah, he has like had like an okay hand to try to out it, but like my hand loss was like way too good. So yeah. Alright guys, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this episode, and if you want to see more videos, just consider subscribing, and yeah, see you. Bye bye.